Jagesh, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Sir, shall we start our program?
Ragesh, did you
Hello?
present the video, Ragesh?
Ansi ma'am is having the video. She is playing it.
Dr. Ansi, present it once again.
I think she is
Sir,
trying
Raghu
to.
sir join ചെയ്തോ ഒന്ന് കൺഫേം ചെയ്യോ?
Raghu sir,
Yes, sir.
join
Yes,
ചെയ്തു.
sir.
Okay, okay.
വീഡിയോസ് ഒക്കെ തുടങ്ങിക്കൂടെ?
I think, yeah, we can start.
I think Ansi ma'am tried to present, but she is having some connection issues, I suppose.
Sir, Dr. Ansi is trying to present. Okay, it's coming.
Maker of teachers, you molded us fine. Pray we to God for thy eternal life, and deep in our hearts your motto we bear. Dominus mea, illumination. Atop the hills where institutions fill, Providence bless what Mark Gregorians build. Among altars of wisdom spreading light, our college yellow makes every bell it tolls. Maker of teachers, you molded us fine. Pray we to God for thy eternal life, and deep in our hearts your motto we bear. Dominus mea, illumination. Though far away, just a college it seems, nearing one knows much more that it is. May all the work be grace to your name. Theophilus mother, I wish be with thee. Maker of teachers, you molded us fine. Pray we to God for thy eternal life, and deep in our hearts your motto we bear. Dominus mea, illumination.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Rajesh.
Okay. Shall we start our webinar?
Rajesh, if you have got sufficient internet there, if you have got
Yeah.
sufficient internet, switch on the video also, please.
Okay,
If there
one
is sufficient
second.
internet, if there is sufficient internet, please.
One second. I haven't adjusted any camera access. Okay. Seven?
Rajesh, perfect. Begin.
Okay. Thank you. So, good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. Good evening, participants. Good evening, everyone. So, we will begin our section with a prayer. Prayer is an avenue through which we actually involve God within our lives, without which we feel that our faith in things will not move forward. Hence, we will start our section with a brief prayer section.
നന്മയാകുന്ന കാന്തി കാണുവാൻ കണ്ണിനാകേണമേ നല്ല വാക്കിൻ്റെ ശീലു ചൊല്ലുവാൻ നാവിനാകേണമേ സ്നേഹമാകുന്ന ഗീതമോ എൻ്റെ കാതിലിണയാകണേ സത്യമെന്നുള്ള ശീലമോടെന്നെ ശാന്തിയറിയണമേ ആ ഭൂമി അമ്മയെന്നറിയുവാനുള്ള ബോധമുണ്ടാക്കണേ ജീവജാലങ്ങളാകെയും ജന്മബന്ധുവായിടണേ ജാതിഭേദങ്ങളെന്ന ശാപമോ ദൂരെ മറയണമേ ലോകമൊന്നെന്ന പാഠമെന്നുമെൻ മനസ്സിലെഴുതേണമേ ആ
Thank you, ma'am, for that wonderful invitation for prayer. Now we will move on to the webinar on the occasion opportunities of higher education in the present scenario. We, the MT department as well as the Martha Training College came upon this particular section with the primary objective in order to give you a certain perspective with regard to the job opportunities that are there in the current scenario. Because many of the B.Ed students as well as MS students as well as the researchers even had a doubt with regard to how things will proceed further ahead during the crisis situation that is happening in our state as well as the nationwide. So we thought as part of our continued program to invite the queries of people who have questions with regard to their career opportunities as well as the higher education opportunities that are existent around India. We would like to actually shed some light to it. So to put things in perspective, we came upon with this particular webinar, which consists of short duration, short sections of prominent people from various educational fields who are there in our own college, who will render their knowledge and their perspective with regard to the opportunities that are existent in the higher education sector in our present scenario. So I would like to first of all I would like to invite one of our prominent life skill trainer, a motivational speaker, and guide and mentor to many people in many sections of the society. I would like to call upon Dr. Jojo Jones sir, for motivational section.
Thank you.
Sir, I invite you for your kind words.
Good evening, everyone. Warm welcome. The hero inside us. That's the topic for the day. In this pandemic times, I hope everybody is safe and comfortable in their home environment. I would like to welcome everyone to a short presentation on the hero inside, the hero sleeping inside us. That's the topic of the day. I would like to share 6 small points. Point number 1, we need to work on the best handy resource available to us. That is ourselves. The best handy resource available to us is ourselves, and we need to try our best to bring out, to develop the best version of ourselves. So we need to bring out the finest version of ourselves. American philosopher Emerson rightly said, every human being has a spark inside, a divine spark inside. The task is to bring out the divine spark inside us. So we need to put in real effort, outstanding effort to bring out the best in us, to bring out the best version of ourselves. That's the first point. I would like to go to the second one. The best investment. What is the best investment? Is it investing in land, realty, or is it investing in shares? No, not at all. The best investment is human resource investment. So the best investment is investing inside new ideas, new experiences, and new insights. So investing inside us would lead to a kind of metamorphosis. Now we would become butterflies. From the level of pupa, we would become butterflies, moving ahead with our lives, exploring different areas and venues. That's a possibility. So the best investment is investing inside. The third insight is a quote from Plutarch. And he said, a child's mind is not a vessel to be filled in. It's fire to be kindled. Human mind is not a vessel where we fill plenty of information. But human mind is a menu where we need to kindle a light, a divine light, the light of wisdom, the light of knowledge. So that's the mission. So putting light inside us. So the divine spark in us, we need to know it, we need to realize it, and we need to develop it. That's the true mission. For that, we need a proactive approach and proactive behavior. That's the fourth point. In order to invest in us, in order to move forward, we need a strategy. That is CPD, continuous professional development. Every day, we need to find some time for growth. The growth time, that is really important. We need to invest in us. We need to invest our time in reading, maybe listening to outstanding talks in radio, maybe watching outstanding keynote addresses in YouTube, continuous professional development. Awareness level we have to sharpen, we need to gain wisdom, and we need to train ourselves, and we need to become expert in our field. So this is an age of CPD, continuous professional development and specialization. People always look for specialized people with specialized knowledge. That's the momentum of the day. So we need to try continuous professional development. And what are the areas we need to explore? That is shared by Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi said, we need to bring out the best of the body, best of the mind, and best of the spirit. That is the true challenge. That's the concept of education put forward by Mahatma Gandhi, perhaps the best definition on education. It's not filling inside, it is bringing out. That's the first dimension. What should we bring out? We should bring out the best of the body, best of the mind, and best of the spirit. That is our challenge. And the final insight is the insight shared by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. From the coastal area of Rameswaram, he could fly with the wings of fire. He could fly to the presidentship of India, and he became one of the best presidents of India, one of the best educators of India, one of the best orators of India, one of the best authors of India, an outstanding motivational speaker, and outstanding teacher, and an outstanding human being. And he says, we are more than what we think we are. We are more than what we can imagine. We are more than what can happen to us. Dear friends, our brain, the normal human brain, is better than the best computer, the best Apple computer, the best supercomputer. Such an unfathomable, incredible brain we have. Amazing brain. And you see, the best camera on earth, nothing but human eyes. The best camera, human eyes. When we smile, when we cut a joke, we are producing happiness hormones, serotonin and dopamine. When we do exercise and when we play and when we do exercise, we produce endorphin, amazing positive hormone. Man is a wonder. No wonder the phenomenon of man, an outstanding book, The Phenomenon of Man by Tayad Shardan, describes a human being as the axis and arrowhead of evolution. We belong to the Mother Earth. The Mother Earth does not belong to us, but we belong to the Mother of the Earth, and we are the finest and brilliant offspring of Mother Earth, and it's our responsibility to take the world, the universe, to the next level of existence, the next level of realization. That's our challenge. So, my dear friends, the best investment is education. The biggest investment is higher education. And higher education would lead you to great heights. Research would lead you to great heights. No wonder India is heading forward. And India is gradually evolving into a developed nation, $1 trillion economy. Now everyone, different parts of the world, everyone respect India, and they look up to India for new startups, new ideas. Now, dear friends, our startups are fetching the attention of the world. So this is a knowledge society. Today, what matters the most is this: the space between 2 years. The space between 2 years. That is the most important space in the world, perhaps the most unexplored territory as well. So let's invest inside. Let's think of gaining new knowledge. Let's read new books. As Abraham Maslow points out, let's search for new experiences that would lead us to self-realization. Let's try to go for higher education. Let's try to do research, and let's bring out the best version of ourselves. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, please. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for that particular motivation section. Now, I would like to call upon Dr. V. Raghu, sir, who is a MET coordinator of our college. Currently, is a MET coordinator of our college, but he has got 27 years of academic experience, including teaching, research, and extension services and administrative services in Kerala University and a national university. So, he has got extensive teaching and research and extension services across different sectors of society. So, he will have a wide range of the thought processes to contribute to various doubts that exist in various aspirants, as well as those who are seeking career, as well as higher educational opportunities. I hope you will feel enlightened after that particular section. Dr. Raghu sir, I cordially invite you on behalf of our college and particularly for this event. Sir?
Well, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Well, our beloved principal, Dr. K.V. Benedict, Dr. Jojo John, Dr. Maya, Dr. Shalini, my colleagues, friends, teachers, and students. Well, today I am asked to talk about or think about possibilities of education, higher education. Most of them have done their bachelor's degree in education. After completing the bachelor's degree in education, what to do? This is a basic question raised by majority of the students, those who have done their bachelor's in education. First of all, they do their bachelor's in arts, science, or commerce. Maybe some of them go for their PG in the concerned area. Then they think about a job-oriented or a professional kind of program. They join for B.Ed. And after B.Ed, they learn. They are trained in the area of teaching and learning. After that, what to do? That's a basic question. Well, to save time, I have prepared some transparencies. Time at our disposal is limited. I would like to focus on the topic. After the bachelor's in education, what to do? That is the focus of the talk. Some of you may have heard of that. Still, I repeat the same for the benefit of the newcomers. Well, can you see that?
Yes, sir.
So after B.Ed, what to do? Usually what are the common possibilities after B.Ed? Maybe some of them start searching for a job. They have got a PG and a bachelor's in education. Naturally, they are in search of a job, maybe in the government sector or private sector, maybe corporate sector. Many other areas are there. There is one area of thinking, one way of thinking. Another one is thinking about self-employment. The percentage is comparatively low, thinking about self-employment. But there are opportunities. In the new education policy also, certain clues are given about that area. So some of them will be focusing their thoughts on self-employment. And now we think about startups and all. Government is also supporting startup programs and all. There are possibilities. Then another area, maybe the third one, is thinking about higher studies. Going for PG in education, maybe research degree, PhD and all. So they can get better job. Some of them are thinking like that. And finally, some of them are comfortable with their family life. They don't think about any other area. Now, these are the common possibilities visible when we think about after B.Ed what to do. Well, now most of them are thinking about a better job. A better job. So what about a better job? Usually, if you have got a better educational background, higher education, maybe PG in the subject, the possibilities are comparatively better for a better job. Then what about your experience? Do you have recognized experience in the field? Naturally, you may get a chance. Then about your publication papers, publication of books, papers, chapters in the book and all. So publication is also taken care of. That gives you extra, points for getting selected. Then definitely now research plays a key role. As per UGC norms, teaching, research and extension are the three major areas when we think about higher education. So what about your research experience? Usually as a part of PG program, people will be doing some research work, maybe a paper or a small research report. But if you have got better experience in research, again, possibilities are comparatively better. Then coming to, where you have done your courses. I have done my MBA from the Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta. So that institute, IIM Calcutta, has a brand name. There are many institutes in India, many colleges in India with a very good brand name. That will be an added attraction in your academic career. Then naturally your knowledge in the subject, your attitude towards the subject, towards the profession, your skills, your technological abilities, all those things, they contribute a lot in getting a better job. Usually, young people, they are in search of a job. After they are doing their degree, they are in search of a job. Whenever you go to the job market, you see the competition is so tight. The competition is so high. So getting a job, whether it is in the government sector or private sector or corporate sector, naturally, now there are ample and enough qualified hands. Naturally, there will be a very high a very tight competition. We say survival of the fittest. So your qualification, your degree, your higher education, your experience, everything counts a lot. So how to equip yourself for a better job? That is also important when we think about, your job. Now, in life, we don't have, life will never provide warranties and guarantees. There is no warranty for your life. There is no guarantee for your life. It can only provide possibilities and opportunities. You will get number of possibilities, number of opportunities. How do you make use of these opportunities? That is something very important. Are you eligible for that? Are you qualified for that? Are you fully equipped for that? Those things are something to be taken care of. So no guarantee in life, no warranty in life. But there are possibilities, I repeat, and there are opportunities. How do you make use of them? It is up to us to convert them. It is up to us to make use of the available opportunities, available possibilities. How do you look at life? How do you equip yourself to get a better job? That is also a very important area when we think about, job market. Now, when you talk about education, if you have a better degree or diploma in education, naturally, there is a minimum requirement for a job in the field of education. You need a diploma or degree. Now, those things are very important when we think about a job in the concerned field. Now, coming to the Indian scenario, the skill survey shows, I have taken data from 2019, an educated unemployment. If you look at the data, graduation, up to graduation, educated unemployment, the percentage is 16.3 in the case of educated unemployment according to 2019 calculations. When you think about PG and above, the figure is 14.2. There is a difference of approximately 2%. So what do you understand from that? If you are better qualified, the possibilities of getting a job is comparatively better. Graduation is 16 point something and a PG is 14 point something. So this is a figure. So if you are better qualified, your chances of getting a better job, a comfortable job, the chances are comparatively high. Now in Indian scenario now, if you look at the data available at the national level, AP, Andhra Pradesh, India Skill Report 2019 shows Andhra Pradesh tops in employability level among Indian states. No, they are the top now. They accommodate engineers, doctors, teachers. They are in a different, they are approaching the field in a different way. They are the top in India. Once upon a time, they were very backward, maybe some 20 years back. Now their plan has changed. They give priority to merit. Their system is different. Lot of private agencies are coming up. The concept of public-private partnership is being encouraged. So they prefer, better hands, better qualified people. So chances are comparatively high. There is an indication. That is how things are moving now. Now, coming to the teacher post. When you think about teaching profession, teacher post, over 1 lakh vacancies are there in Uttar Pradesh, UP and Bihar. This is what the survey says. Over 1 lakh vacancies. There also the public-private partnership is also dominating. Lot of aided program schools, colleges, lot of self-financing colleges are coming up. Vacancies are, rising day by day. But they prefer better qualified, better experienced, candidates. So your qualification, your experience, those things are very important when we are thinking about a, comfortable post in the system. Now, recently there was a report, by UNESCO. India has a deficit of over 1 million school teachers. 1 million. Just think, imagine the figure. 1 million school teachers. In 15 years, the report found that 30% of the current teaching workforce will need to be replaced. So that's something very important. Vacancies are coming up. When you replace a teacher, naturally they go for a better person, better qualification, better exposure, better technology and all. So are you equipped for the job? That's a question before you. Vacancies are coming up. There is a competition, very tight competition. If you are fully qualified, you are better qualified, definitely your chances are comparatively high. This is what you have to learn from the report. And you can refer, webs and all, you'll see such reports available in the website now. Well, now coming to teacher employment in India, if you think about teacher employment in India, provisional data from Unified District Information System, it shows 94 lakhs 16,895 teachers in its schools. Most of them, nearly 1.2 lakh, they are on a working arrangement, they are on a temporary posting. So this is the current figure. Naturally, around 5 to 10% will retire, not less than 10% will retire, and they are to be replaced. When we think about replacing the teachers, naturally, they look for better qualified persons. So vacancies are coming up. Now in UGC also, you may have read in the newspapers and all, not less than 6,000 vacancies are there in the universities and colleges, and they are very seriously thinking about filling up the vacancies. And now, coming to Kerala state, educational sector. In Kerala, education sector is the highest employment market in Kerala. So if you starting from nursery classes, going to universities, educational sector, we have got a very broad sector. Government institutions are there. Government financing, aided colleges and schools are there. They are highest in number. And private schools, unaided schools are there. When you talk about school education, highest number of schools are in the aided sector. When they notify for the post of a teacher, naturally they prefer highly qualified candidates because that adds to the image of the school and college. So in Maharashtra, Gujarat and AP and Tamil Nadu, industrial sector is the biggest employer. But in Kerala, education sector is the biggest employment employer according to the latest data available. Now, when you talk about the market watch is always in need of competent teachers. I underline the word competent. Your qualification, your experience, your exposure, your expertise in technology, all those things counts a lot. So the situation is changing. With a minimum qualification, it is very difficult to get into a post, especially when the job market. With the emergence of public-private schools, the rise of private institutions and universities, the need for professors, assistant professors and all lecturers is, it is on an all-time high. There is a demand. And naturally, the organizations will always, the institutions will always prefer a highly qualified person with a better exposure. Now, coming to the higher post in education, we talk about masters in education. In 2021, we have around 1,034 university level institutions in India. The figure is again rising. It is expected by 2030, we will have to reach 1,500. Our figure will be 1,500. We need 1,500 universities to address the educational needs of the young people of the country. That is a calculation. And we need more resources, more manpower, more qualified hands, more money. Lot of resources are needed. Without that, you cannot survive. Definitely, you cannot survive. So, as per the new education policy, new research organizations are coming up. Major focus is given on research. Now, in India, for research, the resources we invest comparatively very low. It is only 0.5, approximately 0.5% of the GDP. 0.5% of the GDP is invested in research. In most of the developing countries, it is more than 4%, 3 to 4%. So now the government of India is much worried about it. They are going to invest more money in research. So with a research qualification, there is a possibility of getting jobs, better jobs, very good jobs, very attractive jobs in research organizations. And new training institutes are coming up. As per according to the new education policy, we need to train number of teachers, number of young people are to be trained. We need qualified hands, especially in the field of education. We need more qualified hands. So chances are comparatively high in the field. There is another area to be thought about. Then we can think about, the higher posts in education. Say innovative schools are coming up with a lot of innovations. Recently, you may have read in the newspapers, one of the schools in Bangalore, they have started a teaching learning process with a robot teacher. You may have seen the video. And a lot of innovations are happening. You need better qualified hands, technologically, trained manpower in schools and colleges, so that they will be able to run the show in an attractive fashion. And a state level expansion, every state in India, they are very seriously thinking about expanding their education. Without the expansion in the field, in the field of education, no state can develop. No state can organize further programs. They can never address the needs of the young people of the country, youth of the country. Then the central level expansion at national level, the new education policy is focusing on that. Then if you are better qualified, chances are there abroad, in foreign countries, Middle East, lot of people are getting chances. So this is something very important when we think about your future and your career and scope. Now, career paths for educators with a master's degree. What are the career paths? I'm just highlighting some of them. We need a lot of special education teachers in schools and such other institutions. Specialization is done at a master's level. Then school or career counselor. Now, a lot of issues are there in every school. The boys and girls, especially in the context of COVID. So we need counselors to address the psychological needs, to address the mental problems of the students. So we need qualified hands, and we have specialization at PG level. Then we need educational coordinators to coordinate the whole program. The schools are expanding their programs. We need more manpower, qualified hands. Then if we need a principal or an administrator, definitely the management will ask for better qualification. They prefer better qualified hands. This is what is happening now. Then corporate trainers, lot of corporate agencies are coming up. They are in search of qualified hands, competent trainers and all. Then educational consultancy is there. Of course, You can make money. It's a kind of self-employment. If you are better in the job, definitely you will have a very good market. Then the many organizations, they need curriculum developers, they need instruction specialists, then content developers, IT writers, then consultancy in the organization. Like that, variety of chances are there, opportunities are there. Are you able to identify them? Are you able to make use of them? First thing, you have to be equipped for the job. So that is something very fundamental when you think about such jobs. Now coming to the colleges. Now we are going to have more universities. That means more colleges. Most of the colleges, there are departments of education. Education colleges are coming up. New policies being implemented. The integrated teacher education program is going to be implemented. So we need more qualified hands. Then the universities, then training institutions are there. Non-governmental organizations are there. They are also organizing variety of programs. Then the corporate sector, there are very high opportunities. Then private educational institutions are coming up. Then educational projects of famous organizations like IITs, IIMs, then life skills education. These things are being given prominence, importance. They need again, qualified hands. That's another area to be taken care of. Then coming to our own state, in Kerala, now the policies are being changed. Government is very seriously thinking about, selecting fresh, people, better qualified hands from the market. If you take an AEO, Assistant Educational Officer, in Kerala, we have 163 posts. They are very seriously thinking about taking people from the open market. Most of the people in the system, they are simply graduates with a bachelor's degree in education. But there are better qualified hands with a better technology, with a better expertise in the open market. So government wants to improve the quality of education, quality of educational administration, quality of educational management, and there are areas of specialization. So they are thinking about recruiting people from the open market. So there is it will be implemented in another 3-4 years. No doubt about it. Government is very seriously thinking. So they will take some percentage of the post will be from the open market. So if you are better qualified, there is a possibility of getting a direct selection in such administrative posts in the field of education. Now AEO is 163. Nearly 20-25% will be open. Then DEO, 41 DEOs are there. More vacancies, more DEO posts are being developed. So again, 25-30% will be from the open market. Then deputy directors, the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, they need more qualified hands, better manpower with the better qualification, better experience. Then we need a support system, research and development programs. So everywhere we need better qualified people, manpower, technologically advanced manpower, highly qualified manpower. That is a need of the time. So are you equipped for that? This is something very important and you have to think about it. Now coming to national level organizations. National level organizations, teaching and training. We have, in Kerala, we have CMAT. In most of the states, there are organizations called State Institute of Educational Management and Training. Most of the states, they need qualified people. A master's degree in education is a minimum, qualification for them. Then State Institute of Technology. Now the new program is coming up, School Leadership Academy. That is going to be implemented. We need qualified people in the field to support this system. So that is another area. Then coming to national level, we have NCRT, we have NIPA, we have a note of media organizations. Then we focus on education technology. We need more manpower in that, qualified people in that area. They are also thinking very seriously about identifying, innovative people. That is another area. Now, Government of India is seriously thinking about Central Institute of Education Technology. As a NCRT is given the responsibility. They need qualified people in the area of education technology. Technology is moving, changing day by day. That's another major area to be focused, to be thought about. Then comes, quality enhancement in school education. This is another area. In many schools, they need guidance and counseling, teachers to guide the students and counsel them. Guidance and counseling is another area. Life skills trainers are there. They are in search of qualified people. Then specialists in science education, specialization in language education, then social science education, ICT in education. Like that, we need better qualified people. With ordinary qualification, you are not able to reach, such position. You need better qualified people for that. That's the need of the time. The minimum eligibility, minimum qualification will not be helpful for us. We need to be fully equipped for the job. Now, coming to the market, when you think about the job market, published jobs listing, that will be approximately around 15%. The rest is hidden. We call it hidden job market. So, for example, the unaided schools in the private sector, they don't give a notification, which is very expensive. They take their strategies are different. They take from the open market. They take through the networking, through media and all. They take people. I can show you just a system developed. If you think about the job market, you see the hidden job market, 25% job posting and 15% headhunters. There is a system. You put your biodata, your CV in the net, and they will search people. They search for better qualified people. Your skills are identified. Then you are called for a telephonic interview. Now system is drastically changing. Then 45% from networking. You have got a network and you will be identified. And 15% internals. They identify internal people, their relatives, their people with whom they are familiar. Like that, system is slowly changing. The job market, like an iceberg. Whatever you see on the open market is roughly 15 to 20%. The rest is different. So are you better qualified? That is a basic question before you. This is what is happening in the market. Things are drastically changing. And now I am going to wind up. In brief, higher qualification, higher job. So better job means your education background is important. Your experience is important. Your skills are very, very important. Are you fully equipped for the job? That's a question mark. Think about it seriously. Now, thank you for listening. Questions, observations, suggestions are welcome. We can focus on that. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Thank you. You can also, put your questions in the chat box. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir, for that very interesting and enlightening section. It was a very good eye-opener to all, I suppose. It was an eye-opener to me. Anyhow, we need to proceed as per the time schedule that has been provided. A discussion section will be happening at the end of our thematic section. So now I would like to invite Dr. Maya Subramanian, who is a teacher educator of our college, and she is a very inspiring teacher to many teachers and teacher educators. She will enlighten you with various factors that are there in NEP. So I invite Dr. Maya Madam wholeheartedly to this section. Dr. Maya Ma'am.
Yes. Good evening, one and all. Is it visible?
Yes,
Is
very
it
clear.
visible? Yeah.
Yes, very clear.
Yeah. In this session, we pass on to certain aspects of NEP 2020 and few career opportunities. Now, let me start off with an introduction of NEP 2020 for the benefit of student participants in this webinar. So, what is a National Education Policy, NEP? So, National Education Policy 2020. These are a set of policies formulated by the Government of India to promote education amongst Indian people. NEP is basically a comprehensive framework to guide the development of education in the country. since independence, the urge of such a framework was first realized, as we all know, in the year 1968, which was then revisited and revised in the year 1986. This was again reviewed and updated in 1992 as per the need of the hour. Hence, last year, the government decided to revise these policies to make them more relevant and compelling for the education ecosystem. So it is a comprehensive framework of education. The NEP 2020 envisages the idea that lifelong education based on 4 pillars of education suggested by UNESCO, that is learning to know, learning to do, learning to live together, and learning to be. The 4 pillars has to cover every aspect at all levels of education in the sector. Now, the main objective, or the broad objective, is centered around inclusive, lifelong and equitable education for all Indians by 2030. That is the main broad objective of NEP 2020. And the policy has got 4 parts. Part 1, school education. Part 2, higher education. Part 3, additional key focus areas. And Part 4 is regarding transformation of education. Now, with regard to higher education, it is highlighting the to become all universities and colleges to be improved based on a new and forward-looking vision for India's higher education system. The key problems were also identified by the policy makers with regard to concerns of higher education compared to other nations. There are 3 main concerns with regard to higher education, that is lack of accessibility and poor enrollment rate, fragmented education system, and very little quality research. So being a nation facing population explosion, these challenges are difficult to address, but policy strongly recommends to increase gross enrollment ratio at all levels of education. Now, this is the GER over time. So by 2021, it reaches up to 30% enrollment, theoretically 30% enrollment ratio. Now, the goal of increasing gross enrollment ratio from the current 26% to 50% by 2035, India needs not only to open new higher education institutions and universities, but also scale up existing higher education institutions. So over time, independent boards will manage higher education institutions with active participation from alumni and experts from academia, research and industries. So anyway, this will increase the demand for more qualified teachers at all levels, including education sector. Another suggestion of NEP is institutional restructuring and consolidation. That is, at present, there are over 900 universities and 40,000 colleges that will be merged into 15,000 large, well-resourced, vibrant, multidisciplinary institutions, and no affiliation system will be there after 2020. There will be 3 types of institutions in future: research universities, handling equal focus on research and teaching, and teaching universities, primary focus on teaching with significant focus on research, then autonomous degree granting colleges, almost exclusive focus on teaching. So more higher education institutions will come up. Then multidisciplinary institution. So these multidisciplinary institutions, it is focused on producing more disciplinary experts. But the new NEP 2020 proposed to break disciplinary boundaries. What this means is that for BTech students, for example, would no longer limit themselves to their engineering branch. Instead, their programs will have a more significant component of arts and humanities, maybe as a certificate program or a certificate course of few days duration. And students of arts and humanities will aim to learn more science, and all will make an effort to incorporate more vocational subjects and soft skills. So that is what policy states. So we need more postgraduates in the field of education too. Even engineering institutions such as IITs and even management institutions, IM, will move towards more holistic and multidisciplinary education with more arts and humanities. And curricula of all higher educational institutions shall include credit-based courses and projects in the area of community engagement and service, environmental education, and value-based education. There also we need more educationists to transact those curricula. And another is liberal education. We are moving towards more liberal education to energize undergraduate programs. And here in liberal education, flexibility, the curriculum and methodology, all will have a flexibility and to get broad knowledge of the wider world. For example, science, culture, society, social issues, concerns, challenges, etc. can be included in this liberal education system. And the aim is to develop a sense of social responsibility, to get strong and transferable intellectual and practical skills such as communication, analytical and problem solving skills. There also we need more experts in the field of education too. So that is another recommendation. Now, curriculum and pedagogy, more concerned with constitutional values. That is, the pedagogy of our institutions must develop a deep sense of respect towards fundamental duties and constitutional values, bonding with one's country, our nation, and conscious awareness of one's roles and responsibilities in a changing world. To instill a deep-rooted pride in being an Indian, not only in thought, but also in spirit, intellect, and deeds, as well as to develop knowledge, skills, values, and dispositions that support responsible commitment to human rights, sustainable development, and living, and global well-being, of course, therefore reflecting a truly global citizen. So we need trained postgraduates in education in other professional colleges also to handle these areas of education. Now, innovative and responsive curriculum, that is another recommendation, that is stimulating learning experiences, life-related learning experience, socio-centric curriculum. So more opportunities here for postgraduates in education, especially specialization in curriculum development, to develop curriculum for different sectors of education, and student support for learning and development. Here, an emphasis is given to open and distance learning. Open and distance learning is recommended for students, especially from remote areas, tribal areas, etc. So more opportunities in distance education sector, more teaching opportunities for teachers are coming up. Then courses to be available in regional languages, including education, B.Ed and M.Ed. So experts in regional languages for constructing curriculum as well as transacting curriculum are required in that area also. Another aspect is technology of education and technology in education are suggestions of this NEP. That is, technology will be a part of education planning at all levels: planning, teaching, learning, assessment, school relations, human resource management, student learning, everything is centered. So technology will be a part of education. Then development of e-content, to be available in regional languages also, including English. And there will be a National Education Technology Forum to develop and popularize these e-content for the benefit of students. Now, Inter-University Center for International Education set up within selected universities. There also we will get more opportunities for students in education too. The National Research Foundation will be setting up and more emphasis on research with the approval of new education policy exactly a year ago. I think it was on July 29, 2020. NEP is expected to transform the landscape of higher education in India by making higher education institutions work on solutions to the problem rather than solutions looking for a problem in the following spaces. So one, Indian academia has traditionally been focused on research and development without much emphasis on relevance and delivery. So the establishment of National Research Foundation is expected to connect our academia with ministries and industries and fund research that is relevant to local needs. So under the framework of NRF, it is expected to allocate separate fund for research, even research in the area of education, literacy program, etc. So more opportunities in research and more funding will be given by different agencies. So there also we expect more opportunities for post-graduation in education. Capacity building through large long-term mega projects. Yeah, that is novel methods to teach literacy or to preserve local languages or to preserve arts or culture, etc. So there also we need more expertise in those areas also. Now coming to teacher education, restoring integrity of teacher education and moving teacher education to multidisciplinary colleges and universities. So in all, even in arts and science college, there will be a education department and more opportunities are coming up for teacher educators in different colleges also. So teacher education needs to be conducted within composite multidisciplinary institutions, having departments of different departments. We need psychology department, philosophy, sociology, neuroscience, Indian languages, etc. And along with that, education department. So furthermore, by 2030, the 4-year integrated B.Ed course offered by will be offered by this multidisciplinary higher education. That is what the policy is intending. Then regarding professional education, as we discussed earlier, all professional education accommodates other curricular aspects such as human context, ethical context, environmental education, cultural aspect, art, literacy, etc. are also will also incorporate. Standalone universities will be discontinued. Standalone technical universities or health universities, legal or agricultural universities will be discontinued. And all institutions evolve into institutions offering all by 2030. Now, let me conclude the presentation. So we are expecting EQUIP, Education Quality Upgradation and Inclusion Program. That is a program to implement the recommendations for higher education. There is a lag because of this COVID pandemic, but in future, the government, state and central government will be coming up with various activities and programs to implement these policy recommendations, which will improve education in all sectors, all levels of India. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for that very thoughtful section. The discussion about this section as well will be happening at the end of the thematic section. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Shalini S. of Mathiflas Training College. She is also she has also donned the various other roles in All India Radio as well, as a presenter, as a motivational thought thinker and all. So I would actually like to invite her to give us her thoughts regarding higher opportunities. Thank you. Madam?
Yes,
Please.
Rakesh. Okay, thank you. Good evening, respected Principal Dr. K.Y. Bendick, sir. I am my Director, Dr. V. Deku, sir, faculty members and dear participants. Today, my topic for presentation is classroom relationship management. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, inside the classroom, as we know, there are many types of relationship: teacher-student relationship, student-student relationship. But a strong teacher-student relationship is considered as the foundational aspect of the positive school experiences. The goal of establishing a strong classroom relation is to ensure all students a sense of belonging that is characterized by trust, connection, and understanding. Then, how can we establish a positive classroom relationship? And to establish a positive classroom relationship, teachers can, first one is bank with students. It means schedule one-on-one meeting with students to get to know them better. The main goal behind bank time with students is to make deposit into the relationship and also encourage them to be a part of all activities. Students ready to invest more in their learning if teachers give opportunity to share their interest. Teachers should support and listen to their students. And the second one is use effective communication techniques. For effective communication, we know that language skill is essential, body language is essential, teaching skill and interaction skill. These are the basic elements of effective classroom communication. More than that, for effective communication within the classroom, know the child well. Call each student by their name, motivate them to be the part of all curricular and non-curricular activities. Okay, then another important thing is to give them maximum strokes. As we know that strokes are the fundamental unit of recognition. There are many ways of providing stroke. Even a gesture or a smiling face is a positive stroke. From our personal experience, it's very clear that recognition is the integral part of maintaining positive relationship. Then, how can we maintaining a relationship? Building relationship with students is by far the most important things a teacher can do. Without a solid foundation and relationships built on trust and respect, no quality learning will happen. That is, without active maintenance, relationship will damage over time. Teachers should keep and maintain healthy relationship with their students. It is an important thing for maintaining a proper classroom management. Teachers should focus both academic achievement and students' emotional well-being. Ask them what type of support they may need and ready to be with them. It is a very important factor as a teacher. Then repairing harm before things get wrong. That is another point. Negative interactions, such as sometimes it may be some misunderstanding, or sometimes it may be some conflicts or criticism, can weaken a student-teacher relationship. If these negative interactions are left unaddressed, students may less willing to participate in activities. So it's quite natural, and they may be more likely to misbehave, and it will lead to further damage. So it is important for all teachers to intentionally reconnect with students to restore the relationship to a positive state. Please try to focus on solutions, not problems. This is a basic nature of our human being, is that we are always focusing on problems. But the thing is that we must focus on solutions, not problem. Effective classroom management start with relationship building. When students feel a greater sense of belonging, they are more likely to be academically engaged and exhibit positive behavior. Then here I'm going to tell some strategies to build positive student-teacher relationship. Then as an effective teacher, believe that all students can succeed. And the second one is, by knowing the students, a teacher can deliver exactly what they need. By having a deeper understanding of a student, we can approach them like a friend and guide them like a mentor and make them change their behavior and attitude. And the next one is an important thing, that is, say hello and goodbye to every student every day. Laugh with your students. Provide students with choice. Mistakes help them to learn. Mistakes are the most important thing that happens in any classroom. Accept the students and their mistakes in the classroom. Then, how to maintain classroom management? Teach with passion and enthusiasm. Invest time in learning about your students. Talk to your class with respect. Okay, treat everyone with dignity and respect and be honest. Teachers should be the role model, so always be kind and passionate to others. Show an interest in their life outside of school. Say hello every day. Okay, let me conclude my presentation. That a significant time and effort are needed in developing positive teacher-pupil relationship. The benefit of both the teacher and student cannot be measured if there is a proper classroom management or if there is a proper teacher-pupil relationship inside the classroom. The benefits of both teacher and student cannot be measured. Teachers foster positive bonds with students by creating a constructivist classroom climate, treating students with respect, having high expectation for all students, and maximizing success for each student. Positive relationship between teachers and students enhance students' respective to instructions. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much for that particular section on how to develop our skills as a better teacher. Now we will move on to the next section that is handled by Dr. K.Y. Pendik sir, who is a principal of our college. And he is a very prominent teacher educator on a national level, as well as an aspirant who has received Young Scientist Award. He has motivated many students in their research aspects, and he has guided many students through their career pathways. I invite you, sir, for this thematic section. Sir. Sir. Yep.
Yes, he is coming up.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. I hope that I am audible.
Yes, sir. You are, sir.
Yes, you're audible, very clear.
Okay, let me move to the presentation. Is it visible now?
Yeah, it is coming up.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Good evening, respected members of the panel. Dr. Veer Raghusar, the former director of Rajiv Gandhi National Institute for Youth Development, Sri Perambatoor, current director of MT Department, Mar Theophilos Training College. Dr. Joju John, Dr. Maya S., Dr. Shalini, Mr. Ragesh Sharma, Dr. Ansi AS, and the faculty members, respected participants. I congratulate and thank Dr. Shalini for making the background for the continued presentation from which I can move on. The presentation is entitled as Masterminding for Crisis Management. As you know that the 21st century is predicted to be a century of knowledge economy. But for the current time, we are facing a lot of crises, maybe due to the COVID-19 issues. If there was not COVID-19 issues, what would have been there as a question? So at every moment of the history, there will be a crisis available for the human being to manage. One of the contemporary futurologists, Alvin Toffler, says that the illiteracy of the 21st century is not the inability of the human beings to implement the 3R, the reading, writing, and arithmetic. But the illiteracy of the 21st century is the inability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. So that's a point that we have to ponder on. He continues that the challenge of the 21st century education is not the capability, but it is the capability. So the time will change in a very fast pace. So whether we are able to accommodate and adapt with it is a big question. And Alvin Toffler continues that education is the most powerful democratic tool for liberation. So as and when we are facing new and new challenges every moment, every day, we have to come together to overcome the difficulty. The possibilities and challenges in higher education and career opportunities, the time is changing so that we have to embrace new dimensions of learning, new ways of managing the things, and new career paths. So when crisis arises, the mantra today is masterminding technology. That is the only solution by which we can collectively solve problems. See, masterminding is something like that. I hope that some of the mics is kept on. Please mute the mic, please. So when two or more minds come together, a third invisible entity is being generated. That invisible entity is a kind of exponential result. So that new and new visions are coming. So every institution, every colleges, every higher education institution, every schools, every administrative setup must move to masterminding technology to solve evolving day-to-day problems. So masterminding is a collective thinking. There will be individuals who can think, but when they think together, the result and the solution will have a new vision, new charm, new sensibility. So masterminding is a collective vision technology. And then it says that every solo needs a little help from their friends. So that nowadays we cannot have a kind of solo presentation in any higher education system or in any learning context. Even the individual who may be able to contribute a lot must be able to collect the contributions of others together to solve the problem in a more meaningful way. And so how to practice the masterminding is the question. So masterminding could be practiced by means of the technique, we call it as the design thinking technique. And design thinking technique is the new managerial mantra of the 21st century. Everyone might have heard about the word design. So the simple question to you, the participants, you just share in your mind, or you just can share in your chat box what is a design. There may be different kinds of answers that may be available. Design is a very common word, familiar to all of us, so that we may come to a conclusion that, oh, this is a very good old thinking. There is nothing new in that. For many of you, design may be directly associated with aesthetics. So when we go for a purchase of a new material, a kind of new dress material, its color, its stitching, its design, so immediately our attraction will go on aesthetics. But design is not aesthetic alone. Then what is design? For many of us, design will be an event. I'm organizing a webinar. The MA department, in collaboration with other faculty members of Martha Fellows Training College, is organizing a webinar, online webinar, in a virtual mode, connecting people across the world, even crossing beyond the boundaries of the nation, who are participating in the event. And we may be saying that we are organizing an event. Of course, a design is an event. You may be able to design an event, but it is not an event alone. Then majority of we may be thinking about that design is a product, a new model of a mobile, or a new version of an automobile. There will be a number of competing models available in automobile industry with variations, attractive features. So design may be a product for many of us. Of course, design is a product, but design is not a product alone. And then to some others, design may be an experience. Of course, design includes experience, but design is not an experience alone. Then what is design? Design is a process. Design is a kind of process, a masterminding process. There are different steps for the process of design thinking. Number one is empathy. That is learning about the audience for who you are working for whom you are designing for. Designing maybe a classroom, designing maybe a learning event, designing a question paper, designing a kind of teaching learning aid, designing a kind of content generation, e-content generation. So we have to start with an empathy. And then we have to define. The second step of design thinking is define. Redefine and focus your questions based on your insights from the empathy stage. So when we collectively think together to solve a particular alarming situation, many different viewpoints may come. We have to collate all these kind of different ideas generated, insight generated by the contributors, and then we have to define the system. And then the important step is, the third step is ideate. We have to ideate a new particular solution part on that. Brainstorming and coming up with a creative solution is the core component of ideate level of design thinking. Immediately after the ideation session, a prototype being generated. A small sample will be generated, which should be piloted, building a representation of one or more of your ideas into a piece in order to show what is your new solution, prototyping, and then returning to your original user group and testing your ideas for feedback, so that the prototype must be subjected for testing. Based on the market responses, you have to finalize the new design, and that new design will solve the immediate problem of the people in a more amicable way. So that is the cyclic process of the design thinking: empathy, define, ideate, prototype, and test. EDIPT. Remember, EDIPT. Empathy, define, ideate, prototype, and test. See, design is a limited process. That is, an individual can design, carpenter can design a chair or a bench or an attractive piece of a furniture which may decorate your drawing room. So that a combination of engineering and art will combine together. It's an individual exercise. Design is an individual exercise. Design thinking is a masterminding technology, that is team approach, so that a new kind of experience being generated in which not only the combination of engineering and art combined together, but technology, business, that economic way of production, and the involvement of the human beings, those who are working in that particular group. So moving to design thinking means you are moving from individual attempt to solve a particular huge problem to a team experience of masterminding. So innovations, so in this case, innovations, when we move to design thinking, innovations will be shifted to a group of innovators. That is, individuals come together in teams and they will form a new organizational culture. So that organizational culture not only generates something new for the development of the organization, but that will produce something new for the society as well. I'll illustrate all these things with some examples. So design thinking, a kind of social entrepreneurship. So that's the crucial word that we have to remember from this presentation. Design thinking is a kind of social entrepreneurship that is the most needed working mantra of every aspiring, promising higher or basic education system. And see, you may be wondering what this kind of material is. You can identify maybe a cap or a cover or a plastic carry bag or something like that. Many answers may be there. You can give your answer in the chat box, 1 or 2 answers. Even though I can't read the chat box now, some of you can respond. What is this? Something like that of a raincoat folded in a different form. Are you agreeing with that? Are you responding to that? Hello?
Sir, it's looking like a small raincoat.
It's a raincoat made for an LKG student. Okay, that may be a nice answer. Interesting answer. Any other answer? One or two more responses, please.
It can be a raincoat for a school bag.
Okay, that's very good. Okay, very good. Okay, see, this is a kind of a thermoregulating mechanism made for a newborn baby. See, nowadays, a good number of premature births are happening around the world. So when we go to a particular kind of sophisticated incubator that is available in a kind of 5-star hospitals, how much amount of money that you have to spend for 30 to 40 days of that kind of incubation period for a premature baby? You may have to spend thousands and thousands of rupees, maybe lakhs of rupees. See, this particular product we call it as this particular project we call it as the Embrace project. Embrace project is a kind of a collective action taken by a group of project designers. By means of their masterminding, they came to the stage of empathy. What we have to do about in developing countries, 80% of all premature and low birth weight infants are born far away from the hospitals, and so that traditional incubators are not available for them. Even though they can spend the money, they may not be able to reach the hospital in time. So this incubator or a regulator cover could be composed with a minimum of $25. But the other case, you have to spend a minimum of $20,000 for 30 to 40 days in a modern hospital for giving that care. So you can save life. So empathy, ideate, define, ideate, prototype, and test. So that is the step of the design thinking. Everyone, every teacher educator, every researcher, every student, every administrator, every organizer, must have a different kind of thinking process. See, you might have seen the figure of the image of Thomas Alva Edison. He's one of the prominent 20th century industrialist. I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways how it won't work. That was the comment he has made when he committed a number of mistakes while designing the incandescent bulb, to find out the filament material for the filament for incandescent bulb. There is another person who has more patents than Alva Edison, but not so popular to us. That is Arthur Fisher. He has designed the dry surface anchoring mechanism, which we may use in order to fit an incandescent bulb designed by Alva Edison. We have to use a minimum of 2 to 3 Fisher in order to fix it on a dry surface. So the is a German scientist, recently died. So these are two particular world famous examples, Alva Edison and Arthur Fisher, who has contributed a much. Their contributions may be an individual contribution, but nowadays it is a time for masterminding, collective design thinking process. So our when we think about the opportunities of higher education and the career path, it is the responsibility of all those who are involved in the process. Maybe the students, student teachers, teacher educators, research scholars, research guides, administrators, those who are participating in this webinar. If you fail to innovate, you are going to perish. This 21st century offering much high level of pace for everything. Alvin Toffler again says that in order to keep your speed, in order to keep the rate of excellence tomorrow, the rate of excellence of today, if you want to maintain the same speed, you have to run faster than tomorrow. So it is our time to reshuffle our thought process and problem solving mechanism, shift to the masterminding technology, practice design thinking. I wish all success. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.
Thank you very much for that very elegant and thoughtful section. Now we will move on to the discussion section. But before that, I would like to invite one second. Before that, I would like to invite Nisha Dharan, former principal KUCT Anchal, and Shalini KJ, assistant professor, Mal Bacillus Engineering College, for addressing some of their thoughts they have with regard to the section, as well as thoughts with regard to higher education opportunities. First, I would like to invite Nisha Dharan, former principal of KUCT. Madam.
Good evening all. Thank you, Bendik sir. And I think it was a very wonderful session. And I was listening all these presentations and the presentations done by our Rev sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful idea. I mean, that's a wonderful section regarding the opportunities which are open to our students. Thank you very much. And our madam explained the NEP session. NEP is the highlight of 2021. Nowadays, our students are very much very much eagerly waiting for what will happen in within 2 or 3 years to our teacher education section also. So I think it was a very useful session for our students and the educational members are present here. And thank you all.
Thank you, madam. Now I would like to invite Shalini KJ of Bacillus Training College, Engineering College. Madam. I think yes, not there. So we will move on to the discussion section. Any thoughts with regard to our section? You can actually clear your doubts with regard to whatever thought process that has been initiated here. So first of all, in our initial section, in a hero in Jojo sir has addressed how much important our education sector is with regard to motivating ourselves, self-developing our skills. Followed by Dr. Raghu sir, who addressed B.Ed as a after B.Ed what all sectors are there available for us, and then we had a Maya teacher who actually introduced to us the predominant opportunities that are there in the higher education sector, and followed by Shani teacher, who actually gave a small overview about classroom management skills that we as teachers require, followed by innovative section with regard to how a innovator should be by Dr. K.V. Bendick sir. So I would like all the participants to speak up with regard to their queries they have had there inside their minds. You can ask the expert panelist what all you have in your minds. Can you can unmute yourself and speak up, or you can actually ask in the chat box. We will address your queries in from the chat box to the speakers concerned. Hello. Do we have any queries from the participants?
You may also type in the chat box if you like.
I invite Mr. Santosh Kumar CS, our former student, to speak a few words. Santosh Kumar, please.
Santosh is a very creative teacher.
You can
and
elaborate
also.
some of your experience at your primary school, Kunai LPS. You can share it in our original language also, no problem. Most of the participants can understand.
ഹലോ, ലാംഗ്വേജ് പ്രശ്നമില്ല കേട്ടോ, മലയാളത്തിൽ വേണമെങ്കിലും സംസാരിക്കാം, നമ്മളെല്ലാവരും മലയാളികൾ തന്നെയാണ്. സോ യു ക്യാൻ സ്പീക്ക്. ദ സെക്ഷൻ വാസ് ഹോളിസ്റ്റിക്കലി ഡിസൈൻഡ് ഇൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ്. അത് സാരമില്ല, നമുക്ക് മലയാളത്തിൽ തന്നെ നമുക്ക് ക്യൂറീസ് ഉള്ളത്, അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ നമുക്ക് മലയാളത്തിൽ സംസാരിക്കാം. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ചോദിക്കാം. I will actually put on the please don't leave the section as of now. I will put on the feedback link. Before that, I just wanted to know whether you have got any queries. Elarkan? No queries? Everyone has actually said it was an inspiring section, and some of you have demanded for a feedback form. Okay, sir. Okay,
So there is
one
a
question.
There is a question.
Ma'am, I would like to ask if there is any opportunity issues for 1 year MEd and B.Ed scholars when 2-year course has been introduced. Any of our expert panels can address this question.
Yeah, it's a question. First year, 1 year program and 2-year program. Theoretically, nobody can object. Theoretically and legally, it has its own validity. But when you go for a competitive market, competitive area, especially in private as well as in self-financing sector. There is a trend. I don't say tendency, there is a trend. They want a better, qualified people, better exposed, better experienced. So that is what I would like to say in brief. But legally, nobody can question it because it was done. 1 year was there, legally done. Now it is changed. Things are changing. So legally, it's all right. No such issue rises. Okay.
Sir, can you share what is the eligibility conditions for becoming a teacher, training college assistant professor in general education and as optional teacher? I personally want to go for MT, but 2 year is a bit long, I hope. It is addressed by Sandhya Kumar.
Well, we appreciate your interest. The point is you must have a master's degree first, then your PG in education, plus your PhD, then you have to take NET. These are the minimum eligibility. And whatever you want to do, you need kind of specialization is there. If you want to apply for a science post, the eligibility is different. For arts post, of course, those things are already published, and a long list is also available. But it's a long way. You have to do your master's. Maybe you are doing chemistry or physics or commerce. You do your MA, MSc or MCom. Then you have to do your B.Ed, that is 2 year. For reaching first master's degree, you have to invest 15 plus 2, 17 years. Then another 2 years for B.Ed. That means 17 plus 2, 19. Then plus another 2 years for your M.Ed. So then plus a minimum 3.5 years for your PhD. So it is approximately 23 to 24 years. Then you have to take NET, which is not so easy. Then you have to invest minimum 1 year. So approximately 24 to 25 years investment. And then only then the market is competitive now. You have to fight with that. You have to survive. And academically, technically, as in the area of skill development and all, you have to show your skill. These are the requirements in brief. Anyhow, wish you all the best.
Sir, there is a question. Sir, wherever we are applying for job, they are asking for experienced one. If freshers are not given chance, then how come will we get the experience?
Yeah, this is
Krishna.
a very general question which I have been listening for the last few years. Everywhere people want a better qualified hands. So they conveniently ignore newcomers. But there are organizations, there are institutions where youngsters are encouraged. What you said is true. Youngsters are to be encouraged. Otherwise, what about the experience? The concept of experience. That is something very important. But major organizations, leading organizations, for improving their brand name, they need experienced people. So you have to try and try and try. Somewhere you'll get a chance. Show your worth. So people will take you. There is a way to enter because the world is so competitive. What to do? We cannot make a rule or a regulation. Nobody can do that. If you are a meritor, if you are able to show your merit, your expertise, your skill, naturally you will get a chance. That is how you have to fight. There is no shortcut for that. Try and try and try. That's that's a summary I would like to share.
Sir, there is another question. Can you please share the scope of preparing for CSE examinations after B.Ed course, after CTET?
Which one? What are the effective?
Please share the scope of preparing for CSE examinations after B.Ed course, after CTET.
I don't see the question.
It is addressed by Sneha Samuel.
Acha.
Service exams after B.Ed course.
Yeah, where is it? Okay. CSIR.
CSIR, I think so.
No,
sir. It is CSIR.
Sneha Samuel is asking about IAS exam, sir.
Civil service exam after
Civil service examination, sir.
Whether education
civil
is
service
included as one of the optional.
Yeah, it is an optional. Now the thing is that there are training organizations. There are ANCs training. What is your option? You have to take the optional subject and you have to prepare for that, which is usual in a civil service.
Sir, her question may be whether education is being included as one of the optionals for the civil service examination, similar to other basic degrees. That
I
may be
am
the
not
doubt.
familiar with that area. I'm not familiar with that area. I think there may be. I'm not sure about it. I have to refer again.
See, Council for Teacher Education Federation and the national level is trying for pressurizing the central government in including
Yes.
education as one of the optionals,
Subjects.
so that people from the education field also could get an opportunity, equal weightage, similar to sociology, economics,
That is
history, something like that.
that is
Not
there.
being
Yes.
practiced.
Yeah.
Education education is not included in for civil service. I mean, specialization sessions.
Yes.
But in future, there can be a possibility to include education, and even we
Maybe
will
after
have
the
an Indian education service also in
integrated teacher education course, there may be a chance for inclusion.
Now, for the last 20 to 25 years, the educationists in the country were fighting for introduction of IES. But I am told that recently it was discussed at national level, and the strong IAS lobby was against it, and it was dropped. The idea of IES was dropped at national level because of the powerful lobby. IAS lobby is very powerful, and they were not in favor of that. So politicians surrendered before that. That is what I learned from some of the professors from JNE. So that is the current scenario. Maybe in future things may change. Hope for the best.
Sir, there are some questions other than that. What is effective strategy for clearing CSIR net in mathematics? Then what will happen to standalone college when new integrated education is introduced? And what are the job opportunities after MEd? These are some prominent questions that has
What
been.
are the job opportunities after MEd? That was the focus of my presentation. First thing, that depends upon your interest, your capability. If you are interested in teaching profession, of course, you need a master's degree in the concerned area, then a master's in education. Then you have to try for NET, which I have already explained. After getting NET, there are possibilities of getting into a college or a university. Of course, if you want to get into a university, you need experience. Usually college teachers, those who are working in the college, are selected in the universities because your experience counts a lot. And getting NET, of course, it is a tough job. You have to try with more commitment and more, enthusiasm. Then college, when new integrated ITEP, that is not implemented in Kerala, in many other states. And the nearest is Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University. They have already launched. And in Kerala, we need a preparation for that. Lot of legal issues are there. Then the posting of Kerala, highest number of colleges are in private sector and unaided sector. When ITEP is launched, lot of legal issues are coming up. The employability of the teachers, employment scope of the teachers, existing teachers, these issues are not properly addressed by the government. Now, government will have to develop a clear-cut policy in that matter. That the infrastructure facilities, the college will have to develop a lot of facilities, classroom facilities, lab facilities, lot of infrastructure facilities are to be developed. Then it is a 4-year program. You need teachers for education, you need to see teachers for subject, which is very expensive. And you have to pay the salary. Then you need to pay for the rent of the building. A lot of issues are there. And the NCT plan is there for a college. Satisfying those norms, it is not so easy. And government is still, they were supposed to start by this year, but because of COVID and other issues, it was postponed. I don't think government has taken any decision in Kerala. They need to organize some committee, constitute some committee. They have to study the organizational aspect, academic background, then the facilities, then the current situation of the teachers. Lot of issues start to be discussed. Then only they will be able to take a policy in that matter. So at present, we are not in a position to say anything about it because government will have to take certain decisions. We call it policy decision. Then only things will be clear. That's a basic issue. Yes.
Sir, then there is another question. Is CTET required for commerce postgraduates who is already set qualified?
Sorry, commerce?
Commerce graduates are meant for higher secondary only, no?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
them, set is the qualification mark, so that in their case, if they are commerce plus commerce B.Ed, MCom plus commerce B.Ed, with the set, they are eligible for higher secondary. There is no need to have further CTET.
Okay. Thank you, sir. If there are no further queries, we can proceed with the conclusion of this section. We will provide you with the feedback section form as of now. If there are further queries, you can join the WhatsApp link that is being provided in the chat box. You can join it and you can ask further queries. We will address it as soon as we come to know of it. Okay. So we will provide you with the feedback form. Now you can fill it in. Now I call upon Dr. Archana AS for the Thanksgiving section.
Thank you, Ragesh sir. Respected Principal Benedict sir, Head of the MA Department, Regular, faculty members, and dear participants. As we all know, higher education is the cornerstone of the development of a society. In this webinar, Opportunities of Higher Education in the Present Scenario, the theme presenters enlightened our mind with the need of higher education because higher education led us great height. Every human being has a divine spark within. Thank you, Jojo sir, for enlightening us with the need to realize our power. After B.Ed, what to do is a common question among students. I extend my sincere thanks to Regu sir for the informative talk on the opportunities of higher education. National Education Policy 2020 and its emphasis on higher education. Thank you, dear my teacher, for the rich presentation. Classroom relationship management. Shalini ma'am enlightened us with the need of positive teacher-pupil relationship. As she said, we must focus on solution, not problem. Thank you very much, ma'am, for the interesting talk. Benedict sir, the principal, Martiophilus Training College, familiarized us with masterminding as a collective vision technology for problem solving. Thank you, sir, for the enthusiastic, informative presentation. I take this opportunity to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. NCAS, Mr. Ragesh, for the technical support and the coordination. May this webinar be a milestone for higher education. Thank you, one and all, participating in this program. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I suggest all the participants to switch on the video so that either Mr. Ragesh Sharma or Dr. Nancy S can take a few pictures so that
I
we
think
that could
Nancy
be
ma'am
that
can actually
that
take.
could
I am in the mobile, sir.
okay. Joji sir, can you take
But
the
I can do that. I can do that.
screenshot?
Kindly switch on your video if possible, so
I
that we
request
can
all
take.
participants to switch on their cameras for a few seconds.
And smile, please.
Smile. This is a request. I hope all of you will comply. Thank you.
I have taken the screenshot, sir.
Mr. Pradap has raised raised his hand. So
If
thank
there
you,
is any
thank
query,
you
you
very
can
much.
address now.
Benedict sir, shall I announce about the insight
Yeah.
in the program also?
Yes, sir. You are welcome.
Dear friends, so we are Martha's Training College is organizing a weekly insight in-depth invited talk every Monday evening at 6:15. So you are welcome to join the program, and so we have conducted 44 programs. The coming Monday we will be having the 45th program, and if some of you would like to present an insightful talk, you are welcome also. And every third Saturday, Multiplus Training College is organizing a technology training program, Web 2.0. You can also, if you are interested, you can also join the program. And all the 45 insight in-depth talks have been uploaded in YouTube. You can have a look. You can search for Insight in-depth talk, Marthavelous Training College. That's the way you can watch the 45 talks also. Thank you.
I congratulate all the participants, appreciate their coordination and all the presenters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Benedict sir. Thank you, George sir. Thank you for a wonderful session. Thank you all.
Thank you, Nesha teacher. Congrats to you on your new assignment.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now we'll wind up the session.
Thank you, sir.
Hope everybody got the feedback.
Yes, sir.
So shall we wind up with the national anthem?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you, Ansi teacher. Thank you, Rakesh. Thank you, Regis sir. Thank you, Benedict sir.
Thank you.